Hello, Tabitha.
Hello, happy Sunday.
Yes, welcome to Dating Wild Greg. It's a pleasure to have you back, Doctor.
Pleasure
Tonight,
to be back. Thank you for inviting me.
absolutely. Welcome to Coaching You for You, streaming live. We're talking about, we're using a different device, so just bear with us. We're talking about dating while gray, and we're not talking about age. So, welcome to Coaching You for You. I am your host. Welcome back. We are live on YouTube. And we want to talk about dating while gray. And it's not about age. It's not. It's not just about dating. It's about adulting. Seems to be a bit tough for some, but it's about adulting. And one of the things that I'm finding out, and Tabitha, jump in when you're ready. One of the things that I'm finding out, and I want to know what in the Sand Hill and Jill is going on out here. Are people dating anymore, or is it hop, skip, jump? What's going on?
Yeah, I think there's a combination. So, I was I gray when I first started. I was going gray when I first started dating. I was still dying because I got my first gray hair when I was 24.
Okay.
So I've been gray pretty much all my life. But when I first became divorced, I was trying to figure out like how do people meet single men? Like, where do I find somebody else?
That's going to be our next podcast, Where to Meet Them.
Where to meet them? Well,
Yeah.
I need to tune in for that because I really don't have the answers. So I it's kind of weird. I think people expect I think people are uncomfortable with singleness with somebody who's been in a long-term marriage like I had for, 20 years to all of a sudden be single. It just kind of threw people for a loop. Like, do we still invite her to the couple's pool party? Or if we invite her and she's single, are our husbands now looking at her? Or is she looking at our husbands? So it became kind of lonely and isolating. Being single while gray is very different from being single in your 20s where it's kind of expected, and everybody is very comfortable and, excited about your singleness. Because when you're single and everybody else is in these long-term marriages and coupledom, it's almost like for me, I became the pariah that people just didn't know how to engage with me anymore, which was really hard.
That's interesting because as a widow, I experienced the exact same thing. Invitation slowed, uh, participating, in group activities slowed. And so what I did, Tabitha, was I found a way to meet up with groups of men and women who were single
Yes.
because it worked better. It wasn't as much pressure, and I didn't have to worry about what I felt like or
Yeah.
what I looked like or
Yeah.
would I meet the mark in this. I didn't have to worry about any of that because I wasn't there for that.
Yeah.
I was there simply to engage and socialize.
Hmm.
And so part of tonight is about what folks are saying about dating. And, having had the opportunity to do a podcast last week, Dating While Gray, one of the things that I'm finding out is dating is difficult for so many people.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Hmm.
The question is why? What's going on out here? What are we doing? What are we experiencing that has us in a position that dating has to be a task and not fun? What is it?
Um, I think too many times people fall into societal expectations about what relationships are supposed to be like.
Mm,
So I know for me, when I became newly divorced, I was a single mother with two very young teenagers. And in my mind, it was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity for a Hallmark movie, right? Like, I'm the single mother. It's like around Christmas time. I'm going to go to a Christmas tree farm. I'm going to be chopping down the same tree with some guy. He's going to lock eyes with me. We're going to fall in love. He's never going to have had kids. He's going to fall in love with my kids. And, we're just going to have this happy family. Yeah, no, that's not real.
It's not.
And I think also when that doesn't happen, because of social media and, TV shows and things like that, women, especially of a certain age, when you are gray, like I am, you almost feel like a failure. Like, is it because I'm not pretty? Is it because I'm not thin enough? Maybe I should get work done on my body. Like maybe I should go back to dyeing my hair and making myself look younger.
Stop.
Right.
We're not doing any of that. This is for the
Well, as you see, I haven't done any of it. I'm still gray. I have the same boobs I had since I was in high school. Like nothing's redone on this body.
I refuse to have work done. I stopped coloring my hair about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And of course, I wear whatever hair I want, when I want, and how I want. The point is, I stopped dyeing. And one of the things I noticed, I could be out with a guy and they're looking at the long, straight European hair. They're going for a look. They're going for the long nails, whatever the fashion is at that time. They're going for the big butt, the big breast, and the tiny waist. And listen, after a certain point, none of us are having that. But, men have to decide, and I'm speaking as a woman, whether they want real or whether they want a look.
Well, and I think also one of the things that helped me to become very successful in dating. So I was wrong about what I thought dating was going to be. I was going to fall in love with this guy at the Christmas tree farm. And, he was going to embrace my kids and we were going to live in this magical world. I just decided to lean more into going to therapy, right? And talking to my therapist about what I thought I wanted for a relationship and him dismantling like, well, why do you think that's important? Well, why do you think the guy has to live like this? Or why do you think that level of education is important? Or why do you think this type of school is important? And just by asking all those questions, he forced me to get more in touch with myself. And in getting more in touch with myself, I think the thing that I gained was confidence that, you know what? I'm not going to be a match for every guy. Everybody's not going to love me the way that I want to be loved. I put my list together of the way that I want to be loved. So it's not super extensive. It's just like I really need flowers all the time because I like fresh flowers. And I'm kind of classic in that way where I think a man should bring flowers to a woman. Like that's a non-negotiable for me. I need you, if I'm having a bad day, to talk to me with tenderness. Don't tell me, oh, you're strong, you got it, all that. I know I'm a strong Black woman. But when I come home, I don't want to be the same woman that I was on my job all week or when my kids school. I need you to give me a soft place to land. Not maybe every single day, but just sometimes when I say I'm having a hard time, don't challenge me and buck up. There's just a list of things. And those became my non-negotiables. And my therapist helped me to go through this very great phrase that I'll say. It's not you, it's not me. I don't think we're a match. I think you're a great guy, but I don't think we're a match. I have a certain way that I want to be loved, and I'm just not experiencing that here. And I'm not going to destroy who you are and the way you love by trying to make you fit my mold.
Well,
So,
that's going to happen anyway. We can't change anybody, right?
no, not because I like older guys, right? I like guys that are like, I'm 45. So I like guys that are older, like 48 to 53. That's kind of my ideal range. Nobody's going to change who they are. So there's no need in going through trying to dismantle, you don't give me enough hugs. You don't say I love you enough. That's just not the way I want to be loved. I think you're a great guy, but I don't think we're a match. And I'm friends with all of my exes except for one who was a liar. But everybody else, I'm definitely friends with because they can respect the fact that I say, I just don't think you don't love me the way I want to be loved. I think you're a great guy, but I don't think we're a match. And I think we should just be better as friends.
I have one big non-negotiable.
Okay.
You got to have good character.
Which
So
is why I'm not even friends with that one ex, because the character, the integrity, the honesty, like, no.
the good character is so important. And
Hmm.
it's important because if a man has that, there are endless possibilities.
Absolutely.
Good character brings a lot of stuff. It brings the loyalty, it brings the trust,
Yeah.
brings the personal uh types of relationships that you're looking for if they have good character. If
Yeah.
a man dating is never an issue. There's
Yeah.
plenty of men out there who want to date.
Yes.
I'm not a dating type girl.
Right.
I want a relationship. I want to settle down.
Me
And
too.
what my experience has taught me is simply this: pay attention to who they are, not what they say, but what they actually do.
Hmm.
I had an opportunity to experience something not too long ago where I had one thought, based on what I thought I knew, had a chance to be in the space and realized it was outer space. So, so when I say what in the Sam Hill and Jerry going on,
Excuse me.
I mean it. What's going on? Because half of America thinks dating is a problem and it's harder than it's ever been before. I don't think it's unreasonable to want somebody with good character who can hold a decent conversation about something.
And I was actually listening to this on NPR yesterday. I dropped
Yeah.
my daughter off at an appointment, and I was on my way to a sorority meeting, and it was talking about how more men are single than have ever been single before in the history of like the country, right? And one of the things that the researchers were saying that is a lot of it has to do with social media and the way.
Social media has impersonalized friendships, socializing, relationships, marriages, everything.
Right. And that people can create these whole personas that are absolutely nothing like their real lives, right? They can
Yeah.
go and stand in front of a car, right? A Porsche. Maybe you can't afford a Hyundai, but you're standing in front of a Porsche, you're leaning on the hood, and you're like, oh, it just came back from a ride in the country. And then somebody thinks you own that Porsche, right? And so it was
Well,
talking about
that's their intention to make them think that too, Tabitha.
like the last guy I dated, right? So he created an entire life, and I was not in the best space because I had experienced a lot of death in my family, and both of my kids' best friends died within a month of each other.
I
So I
remember.
just wasn't myself. And so when a person is able to have the outlet to create this whole fake life, and they get a person like me, like I'm a very strong person, I'm really astute, I do all type of research, that I pride myself on never letting anybody take the best of me. This person was able to fabricate an entire existence, and it
Yeah,
was because of social media. You could
yeah,
pose in front of a cabin and be like, hey, renting my cabin out for the weekend, which is really not, you're renting it out for the weekend because you don't even rent the cabin. But you can take pictures in front of the cabin. You can take pictures in front of this Porsche. You can take pictures at this golf resort with all these random people who you just met that day and they look like they're your best friends and fabricate an entire existence.
yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I feel for dating while gray. I had to pull back and say to myself, you know what? I am really not a digital native. Like, I don't know. My kids can look at anything and be like, that's fake. That's not real. Based on the background, they don't own this stuff. I look at it and I'm like, oh, wow, this is great wealth, right? Like, I had to pull back and say, you know what? I'm going to go back to the old fashioned days. Like, meet somebody through a friend
Yep,
who I know knows the friend, who I know
yep.
has vetted the friend,
Hmm.
who, they're like, oh, this is my line brother, or this is, my chapter brother, if they're, in a fraternity or whatever. I think, especially for us, because we're not digital natives, we cannot discount the importance of that human touch, the human interaction, and the human vetting. Just because we're not in our teens and 20s and we don't stay up all night looking online to make sure a person's legit.
That's
I look,
right.
I see, I'm like 9 o'clock, I'm going to bed. Hopefully you didn't lie to me because I don't have any more energy to look into this.
Listen, dating while gray is not about age.
Yeah,
It's about maturity. It's about adulting.
yeah.
What happened to, I'm on a date. True story. I'm on a date. So I know most guys drive aggressively. Not a problem. But when it gets reckless, it's reckless.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
there's no getting around that. That's not defensive or aggressive driving, it's reckless. And the person wants to argue about what works for them. You're on a date. I've been on a date. Let me talk for a second about a past relationship that put me in check. And I always refer back to this relationship for reference,
Okay.
for the lesson. I'm not holding on to it. There's a big difference. It's reference. And here's what I know, there's some great guys out here. And guys, there are some great women out here. But the bottom line is this: for those of us who know who we are, where we've been, what we want, and where we're going, we're not playing hop, skip, jump. We're not.
No, at all.
Mm-mm. We're not. And the problem is, so many are willing, it makes it tough for those of us who are not willing.
Well, and I think also this is one of the things I used to research when I first, started in the field of psychometrics was African American acculturation. And so one of the pieces that my former research partner and I discovered was this notation of there being a shortage of good black men, right? Because black men were the bucks, they were the pullers, they were the drivers, and so they were always being sold off on plantations. And so women started to compete for them because they were like, okay, I got to get that one and hopefully he won't be sold off. Or if he's sold off, I have to fight off all these other women on the plantation to get that other one. And that became a part of how we were socialized, right? As black
But
women.
let me stop you here
Mm-hmm,
and tell you how important that is for Black folks. We're speaking to all folks, but
mm-hmm.
this is particularly important for Black folks to understand. This is where that disrespect, the competition,
Yes,
the hate, the misrepresentation, the disloyalty started.
right.
Go ahead,
Because
Tabitha.
we feel like we have to compete, right?
Go
For
ahead.
that black
Not
man
competing with
before he's
nobody.
before he's gone. And so then there became this almost like a paranoia and a panic that there's a shortage of good black men. We have to fight over who's left. And then, as we moved into not really the 60s and the 70s, but more the 80s, the Reagan era, the war on drugs, the 90s with the Clintons and the super predators, there became this pseudo paranoia that all the black men were being sent to prison, right? And so there's a shortage of good black men out here because the rest of them are in prison. And so
That's not
therefore,
true.
no, not at all. And so therefore you
Not
have to
true.
compete with your sister because there's a shortage of good black men out here. So I need to claw your eyes out to make myself look better than you, prettier than you, smarter than you, a better cook, all these things because there are not enough black men out here. But one of my friends, I'm going to name drop Dr. Ivory Tolson. He's at Howard University. He's the editor in chief for the Journal of Negro Education there. has published an
Him up,
incredible
y'all. Get what he's got to give you.
so he published this incredible book called No More BS, which are bad statistics. And it's all about the statistics about the number of Black men
About that.
who are productive citizens in society versus the number who are incarcerated, and the number of good Black men who are out, free, working, taking care of their families, or if they don't have a family, long to be a part of a unit and a family, whether it's like me who comes with 2 kids or whether, they create their own, is much higher than the number of Black men who are in prison.
Say that again. Say it again.
The number of Black men who are out in society as productive citizens, productive, positive citizens, working, taking care of their families, longing to be a family like me, like I'm going to keep saying, single mom with 2 amazing kids, or wanting to create their own family unit, is much higher than the number of Black men who are incarcerated. However, that statistic dismantles the white supremacist view that all the Black men are in prison and therefore Black women can't work together because we have to compete, because we're competing for a very limited resource.
Or so we think.
Or so that's what they want us to think, right? Like, I can't be your friend, even though you might be, I'm going to say 5 years older than I am, right? We can't be on the same team because we're competing over the same men. But in reality, we're not. There are plenty of Black men and plenty of Black women to go around. And so once I started to learn more about this, especially as I became single, I created sister circles. And so there are a number of us who are single, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, and we work together and we stay together, but we're not competing.
That's right.
Like, your hair, doesn't look good. I'm going to be like, hey, sis, your hair, I'm not going to talk about you behind your back. I'm going to be like, hey, move your bang over here. Let me help you draw your eyebrows on, right? Let's get the eyeliner. Let's plump your cheeks, because there are enough men to go around. I don't have to put you down so that I can look better.
That's right.
Because there are plenty. And once I started plugging into these sister circles, I kind of started to regret it, because I'm like, oh, they're all getting married now. And I'm like, what? Like, once we stopped competing and we started loving ourselves and loving each other, these men just flock towards them. And I'm probably single because I'm kind of difficult to work with. I'm not going to lie.
I'm going to tell you right there, I'm single by choice. It's a decision.
Me too.
And it's a decision because one of the things that I do, and I have a course that I teach on what I like about me for women.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about me is that I know what I want. I know what I want. I'm not going to play games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back and forth. We can disagree without being disagreeable. That's for men and women alike.
Yeah.
It's okay to have a difference in thought. It really is okay.
Without hating each other.
Without,
we used to do a long time ago with debate teams.
Without fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Without being disrespectful. Without feeling like I'm being attacked. Mm-hmm. It's okay to have a different thought. Mm-hmm. And that's for men and women alike. I think men, there are some great men out here.
Yeah.
And there are especially some great Black men out here, which is what I want.
Which is some
is what I want.
Amazing, hardworking, ethical, loyal, dignified, refined, protective, providing Black men.
That's right. And peaceful.
Yeah. Peaceful. That don't equate conflict with love. Don't equate chaos with love. Just like super supportive.
Yes.
And like you, I'm single by choice because I have 2 kids who are very mommy centered. And I just really need them to be at the point where I feel like they're good in life, because I want to be loved just like 100% love, like not loved. And then, okay, at 8 o'clock, I got to go pick up for cheer. And 9 o'clock, I got to go make dinner. Like, I just want to like every day to feel like a honeymoon. So that's why I'm single.
I think I, I know that relationships are difficult.
Yes.
Had a successful marriage. I didn't say perfect. I said successful.
Hmm.
And I appreciated it and I miss it. I miss it in that there are folks who don't understand how important it is to be real in the relationship.
Yeah.
Not faking it till I make it.
Hmm.
We're either making it or we're not. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for my friend, my companion, my lover, somebody I can trust. I said good character is my number one non negotiable. If
Yeah.
you're
Of
cheating
course.
on your wife, if you're cheating on your husband, do you, boo? I'm not doing you. I'm not doing you. If you're a liar, if you can't be trusted, if you don't know the meaning of loyalty. I was in love with a man after I became a widow. I fell in love with his potential. I fell
Oh
in love.
no.
Yes.
Not the
Don't cry yet.
potential.
Don't cry yet, because the story is interesting. I fell
That
in love
sounds
with
like the plot of a
potential.
Tyler Perry movie. Like potential. We're too old for potential.
I fell in love with potential. Great
Mm-mm.
guy, very successful, in some of the things he was doing. Very powerful, very charismatic, very smart. You know, some of the things I wanted to see. What I couldn't see up front was the red flags. And when they start falling on the field, I was like, as if I had been frightened.
And sometimes the red flags look like a carnival, right? So it's kind of fun.
It does look like a carnival, and sometimes it is fun. But the bottom line is, they're deal breakers.
They are deal breakers.
Flags
Absolutely.
are deal breakers
They are, and they should not be ignored at any point.
at any point. And so I
No.
fell in love with this guy, and I kept trying to see the potential. We
Mm-mm.
could have amassed an empire together because he had the knowledge, skill, and ability, and so did I.
Okay.
What didn't happen in the middle
Mm-hmm.
was the good character. And I was gone
Mm-hmm.
long before I actually left because I
Okay.
had to get out safely. And
Yeah.
even in that, they attempted to destroy me. No luck. I'm still standing and I'm still living and I'm still loving. And so the point I want to make here is everything you see that looks good is not good.
Oh, not at all.
The potential in a person is just that. Let them grow the potential.
Yeah.
That's their job.
Not
And
at all.
even if you think, as I did, that you can amass fortunes together, you probably can. But the point is it worth it? It wasn't worth it. The other thing I see a lot of, Tabitha, before we move on, is women thinking that they have a man who's cheated all his life, right? All his life, and they think that they're coming along and getting it right. You're not. A cheater is a cheater, okay? And it doesn't make the former husband or wife any less of a person. It just means that they're a cheater. And if you don't accept that and you think that the cookie crunch is better with you got some rough times ahead of you, baby.
Yes, you do. And well, you knocked on my front door with that one. Because as I said last year, I had a number of deaths. I lost my cousin in January, my brother in February. While I was at my brother's wake, my uncle died. And then my daughter's best friends died. My daughter's best friend died. And then while we were trying to bury him, one of my favorite uncles of all times died. And then 3 weeks after that, my son's best friend died. So I was depleted. And I met this guy online, of course, social media, the DMs.
Oh,
Jesus. Yo Gotti, I love trap music. Yo Gotti has a song, it goes down in the DMs, and it does, and it's not always in a very positive way, I have to say.
yeah.
Because this guy came and he was like, oh, I had a baby when I was with my wife, but I've changed my ways, and I had a baby when I was with my fiance, but I changed my ways. And I was like, I was depleted. I didn't have time to research this guy, right? That's usually not my thing. If you tell me you've treated multiple and you have babies, that means you have a character flaw that I need to actually say, nice meeting you. Have a blessed day in Christ. Because everybody knows that's my way of telling you to go to hell, right? Like, have
But
a blessed day
let
in
me
Christ.
say this. Let me say this, Tabitha.
Mhm.
If you're with a man who has cheated and had a child and you decided to stay, shut up. Go ahead.
Stay there. Be quiet. Mind your business.
Shut
And
up.
trust that really nobody else wants him. Just enjoy.
Same
Um,
for women. If you're
Keep
with
getting tested and just, live your life.
same thing.
But this guy, I was like, okay. He was like, no, but you're so beautiful, you're so accomplished, all these things. So fast forward 6 months, he just got kind of nasty with me after I went to a Founders Day party for a sorority, and I was like, okay, this is a red flag. And at this point in my life, it's not a carnival, right?
Right.
We're done. Thank you for, being my friend, as the Golden Girls say. Thank you for being a friend. We're done
Thank
here.
you for being a friend.
Yeah, and then I found out that man had a common law wife, a fiance, and 2 girlfriends while he was dating me,
All at the same time.
all at the same time.
Women do some of the same stuff. What in the Sam Hill and Jill is going on out here?
You
Okay.
know what? You know what? My thing is, I think there's still a part. So as soon as I knew, I mean, I was done with him before I found that out, because I was like, once you talk to me crazy, we're done. I don't want to hear anything else you have to say. And then when I found out the rest of who he was, all I could do is sit back and honestly, I reached out to my sister circles. I told them this was going on, and they were like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm glad you were already done with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need him, move on, all these kind of things. And I said, thank God for healing, and thank God for me realizing that women are not my competition, right? Because if
Yeah.
I felt like I was in competition with other women, I probably would have never said anything, because I'd be like, maybe they'll want him, or maybe they'll go after, or maybe they'll think I'm crazy, or maybe they were like, girl, come over my house. Let us love you. Let us make you forget about this guy. There are better guys out here. And these are single women, right? So we've decided that we're not in competition. We all want to see each other thrive and each other grow. And when one of us gets married, everybody rejoices. Nobody says, oh, I'm not going, or I don't have a man, or I don't have a date. If you don't have a date, I'll be your date. We will go as 2 heterosexual women to this wedding and celebrate our sister finding love. There's not a competition. And I think that's one of the strongest things that we can do as daters while we're gray.
Mm-hmm.
Lean into the circlehood of sisterness, and just realize we're not in competition. There's no shortage of good Black men out here.
They're out here.
They are out there,
There's
and
no shortage
they
of good.
want a good Black woman.
Yeah, we're out here. So Tabitha, thank you. I'd like you to post in the comments the book from the doctor at Howard. Is it Howard?
Yes, I've retold.
No more BS, no more bad
Mhm.
statistics. Because I
Yeah,
think it's going to be a good read. I'm going to get it.
it's an
And
excellent book. It's a very easy read. Um, but he's a statistician and a researcher, And all of the stats that he's pulled from the various prisons around
Mhm.
the country, he's been called to the White House many times to do briefings about the percentages of Black men who are in prison versus the percentages of Black men who have matriculated college and have earned at least a bachelor's degree and are working jobs.
The media doesn't want you to see that.
They do not.
Nor do they want you to hear it. And so the book, No BS, No More Bad Statistics, is going to be a good read. I already know, just based on our conversation, I know. And I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll be back again randomly on Sundays. Look for us on Sundays on YouTube. We're talking about adulting. We're talking about socializing. We're talking about relationships. We're talking about what in the Sam Hill and Jill is going on out here. Why does everybody think it's okay to have a sneaky link? Oh,
Oh no.
really? Come on. You're linked up in a sneaky way and you think that's cute? To each his reach. It's not my reach, baby. I'm a woman and I'm a woman who knows what she wants and it's good character. That's where we start. Everything else we can build on. And as Tabitha said, there are good men out here. Part of the problem is we're fishing in polluted ponds. If he's cheating on her or she's cheating on him, they're cheaters. There's nothing
Well,
to
and
do.
also we need to stop buying into this false narrative that there aren't enough educated Black people to go around. Because if people
Tabitha froze for a minute, but she's giving you some good stuff here. She said,
sorry,
good ingredients to bake
so
it.
people need to stop, especially Black people. We need to stop buying into this false narrative that there are not enough good Black women and good Black men to go around, so that we have to recycle and put up with abuse. And if somebody's dated my friend or my soror and then they didn't work out, I'm going to date that same guy because I can change him. No, he can't be changed. And honestly, a lot of times people don't want to change. So just go to a person who desires to be with you in the way that you want to be loved and just accept that person. So, like I said, I done with the BS, right? As Ivory says,
No more bad statistics.
no BS. I am done with the BS. I only am involved with men or a man who loves me the way I want to be loved. When I say these are the things that I need to be happy, and he's like, no problem, and it's not a problem, that's a match. And if
Our
somebody
next,
says it's a problem, thank you. God bless you. Let's continue to be friends. I wish you the best as you find the woman who's the match for you, because I know she's out there and I don't have to
that's
tell
right. She's out there. She's out there.
her. Mhm.
She's out there. And that's what I want to leave you with tonight. I was kicked off. I want to apologize. Tabitha, are you there? Tabitha, are you there?
I am.
I was kicked off.
Yeah, me too.
So,
It's so weird.
in all relationships, I want you to know number one, you're not the trauma center. You're not. You're
No.
not built to absorb,
Uh-uh.
take on, which means absorb. You're not the trauma center. Be good to yourself. Remember that there are tons of good men and women out here. And what in the Sam Hill and Jill is going on out here is that some of you are playing hop, skip, and jump. Stop it. You're making it bad for all of us. There are good people out here. The statistics are not accurate relative to the number of good people to date. Remember that. They're out here. And if you're out here playing games, stay on the court. Eventually, you're going to get injured and you're not going to be able to play anymore. Okay? And so, thank you
That
for
is
joining
it,
us
and that
here.
is all.
That's it, and that's all. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to be back again, and we're going to be talking about where you can go to date, where you can go to meet people, and what dating actually looks like. It's not a hop, a skip, or a jump. Tabitha, wrap it up for us, baby. What's your last words here tonight?
Women, we are not each other's competition.
That's right.
There are enough men for all of us, and then some. Trust and believe in
Yes,
yourself, and the right man will find you. Remember, even if you're not a Christian, it doesn't matter. The Bible says, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and has obtains favor with the Lord." It does not say she who finds a husband. So stop looking for a man and let the man look for you.
that's right. That's right. Thank you for sharing that. And my wrap up words for you are simply this: good character is where it starts. Don't think you can find a bad boy, a cheater,
No.
a woman who lies, a woman who hops, skips, and jumps,
Mm-mm.
and then think you're going to have a good thing. You're not.
No.
And guess what? No matter how much we try to create a look, the look is what it is. It's inside here. It's
Exactly, which is
inside the
why I
heart.
spend no money on getting my body redone. It is what it is.
It's in your heart and it's in your
Mhm.
head. Thank you for joining us here tonight at Coaching You For You. We are a 45-minute podcast here on YouTube. And what we want you to know is there's plenty of good folks out here. You might be fishing in the wrong ponds. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We'll see you again on a random Sunday. We'll let you know when we're coming, but we're definitely coming back. And we're going to talk about where they are and how to meet them. Thank you and have a good evening. Thank you, Tabitha.
Of course, anything for you. I love you.
I love you back. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.